So let me start off here with a couple of pictures, because there's a lot of confusion now in the backswing. Am my hand supposed to do? Am I supposed to be Dustin Johnson? Am I supposed to be John Rahm back here with this action with the hand? You can see that they do. You know, Dustin Johnson's a great example of that. Well, you know, he stretches every day. He's been doing this technique for a long time. You can see as soon as you do this with your hand, create a bow or a flexion there, it's very hard to straighten the elbow. So sometimes you're going to take it back. Everybody wants consistency in their golf swing. Okay, great. Well, if you the way Dustin Johnson does it is that he's 100% as flexible as he can be, and he's bowing that wrist as much as he can. So at least he's going to the limit of what he can do in this regard. But none of us really have that kind of flexibility. He's a kind of a rogue example. It'd be great to have a lesson from Dustin Johnson, just to say I met the guy, but I could never really think that he'd be a good teacher. So so we really don't want to be here, because sometimes you're going to be a little bit bent in the hand, and a little bit bent here, sometimes more bent, sometimes less bent, and you're going to have different things going on with your arm. You got to take it to the limit. Okay, so when my hand goes like this, bent, cupped, then my arm can be pinned straight every single time. And so that's one source of confusion in the golf swing. So if I'm going to do wax on, wax off with how the hands work, you have to understand where I'm coming from. So let me show you here in this book. You can see here that his left hand is definitely cupped as much as possible, and this left arm is pinned straight. All right, so that has implications along the lines of getting the club head to do the work for you, and I'm going to show you what that means in a moment here, and the implications of what this has to do with how the right hand is working. The right hand in the golf swing, I haven't seen hardly a golfer yet, a student or maybe even otherwise, except maybe on the tour, that gets this right. So most people are trying to cock the wrist up. There's no cocking up of the wrist in golf, of the right wrist. In fact, the left wrist is cocking, but that thumb is going to be pointing back in this direction behind you, not trying to get it towards the target, parallel to the target. So the right hand is only working in this direction. It's only hinging like this. And then when it gets back here, after it hinges, it gets to that drink tray waiter position, and then a karate chop on an inside to out path to the ball. So as soon as you go like this with your right hand, just to be really clear here, as soon as you do this and you cock that thumb up, the elbow comes out here. All right, and then now you're in a position where you have to time that and say, okay, well, I'm here, and then I got to get the elbow in. I'm here, and then I got to get the elbow in. Whereas if you're bending here with the wrist and allowing the weight of the club head to get you to here, see, my elbow is going to automatically be in. All right, so there's a couple of things there with the left and right hand. Another thing that I want to point out is that most everybody I see hitting a golf ball out on the range, they don't have the hands centered in front of the belt buckle and down the center of the body. That's really important. Most people are leaning the shaft forward at address, and I'm going to show you here in a little bit why that's not a good idea. You can clearly see that Hogan is not doing that. I know I've shown you this picture ad nauseum, and you can see how the arms are pulled together, or pushed together I should say, pushing those sockets, elbow sockets out, and pushing the inner elbows towards each other. That's so important, and this is not a static thing. He's showing this in a static way as part of the address, but it's a dynamic thing that happens during the golf swing, which I'm going to cover. And the last picture here is the take back. You can see most people that I watch are trying to, when you see their take back, they already have this club head cocked up so the shaft is about parallel here. That's not a good idea. That means you're using your hands to lift the club and therefore contracting your muscles. And everybody would say, if I ask them the question, do you want to have relaxed hands and relaxed arms? Yes, yes, yes. Well, as soon as you cock that head up to here, you don't have that anymore. It's just, that's not a good way to take the club head back. And I just wanted to show you here very clearly that the left wrist is definitely fully bent and cupped, and that implies that the right wrist is bent and not cocked. So let me show you what I mean by that. So the right hand and the left hand are actually kind of wringing out this rag. So when it comes back like this, I'm actually wringing the rag this way. All right, and you see that means my right wrist is bent. I'm not trying to cock that thumb up. Okay, it's this. That's what he's doing. So when he's back here like this, and you can see where that puts the elbow right here. As soon as you try to cock the wrist up, that elbow's going to get away from you, and then you got time getting it back in. And you've already separated your arms from your hips. Head at least.